morning, everyone, and welcome to In the Know with CaT Bobino. And today, my extra special guest is wildlife biologist Alex Troutman. Thank you for being here on the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's great to be speaking with you again.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, you've been on here before. You kind of went viral, as they said, when you said this is what a wildlife biologist looks like.
Yes, yeah, that was, I don't know, I was just trying to do it for, like myself, I have been getting a lot of questions when I tell people what I do. It's like, oh, you're a scientist. That people don't seem to understand that scientists are not like cookie cutters. Like we're not all white. We don't all wear lab coats and work in labs. So I kind of posted like, oh, I am a scientist, despite what you think, and I went to sleep and
I'm going to mute
yeah.
myself since.
Yeah, so I went to sleep and woke up, and I was viral, I guess. Yeah, so that was interesting, but I'm glad to that other people get to see the representation that what a scientist looks like. We're like I said, we're not cookie cutter modes. Always wearing a lab coat, all white. So I'm glad that it happened.
Well, that is awesome. And I got to be honest, that's how I found out about you. Everybody was sharing your photo and your write up, and it was amazing to see you. And yeah, we got G Money Man. He said, "This is great for representation. Black scientists matter. Absolutely."
Right, exactly. Yes.
So, for everyone who might be watching right now, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Usually, my son Carter would be asleep, but he's awake and he's decided to join us today. Please, please be okay with his screaming from time to time. I apologize in advance, but as you can see, the chat is open, and you make sure you put in your questions, your comments, and we will have them on screen. So back to you, Alex. So what got you into the wildlife biology?
Yeah, so I guess it kind of started from a young age. I used to go fishing with my uncle and dad and brothers. So I would see red-tailed hawks like soaring over, or I would see great blue herons fishing right alongside us. So I was always interested in that. And from fishing, it turned into like taking forever to cut the grass because I was more interested in what was running away from the lawnmower than actually cutting the grass. I would spend hours cutting like a quarter acre yard when it shouldn't have took that long, maybe 30 minutes at that, just because I wanted to see the snakes and frogs that were running away. So from there, I kept into loving nature, and I went to college to actually be a vet because that was the only representation I had growing up was anyone working with animals or a vet. So I thought I would do that for a long time until I got to college and started getting serious about it and realizing that vets they have a high depression rate. So I really didn't want to deal with that. So at that time, I switched to middle grade education and with a minor in biology and figured I would teach. That something led me back to wildlife biology. So as a part of my minor, I took ornithology and mammalogy courses. They both were field biology courses. So I was outside actually researching these animals, and researching these animals and getting to view them in their natural habitat. And I was like, well, this is exactly what I wanted to do. So I decided to switch back to biology. I guess I kind of skipped a step. I was in love with Steve Irwin and Jeff Corin. Like they were the scientist representation I had. But of course they wasn't black, so I wanted to do that. That being that there wasn't representation, I was stuck to being a vet. But actually getting outside and being able to do the research in my mammalogy and ornithology class, what got me back to like this has been my goal, so I want to continue to pursue it. So I switched my major back to biology and pursued that and graduated with a degree in biology.
Well, that's awesome. And so for everyone who's listening now or later, mammalogy might be easy to think that's mammals, but then ornithology is the study of birds. So, that's both going to get you outside into the field, working with different animals, which is cool. G Money Man says, I can't stay, but this is awesome, Cat. And thank you, my brother, for pursuing your passion. So yeah, thank you, G Money. Also, I'm waiting for you to hit me up because didn't you say you was in STEM? You should be on the show too. So let me know. But thank you. But yeah, so getting out there, being introduced to it. Steve Irvin was someone I looked up to as well. I think I watched a lot of National Geographic programs, and I always said I wanted to be that, but I didn't see anything like that. I didn't see a person of color nor a woman doing any of those types of work. So representation does matter, and hopefully we'll start to see more of that, and you're doing a great job at showing it yourself. So with all the things that you have been doing, what was your favorite animals to work with?
I would say my favorite animal that I have worked with, um, it's kind of a tie. That my one of my favorites is they are bats. So I got to research bat diversity in Borneo. So Borneo is an island on the other side of the world that's occupied by three different countries. It's Malaysia, Indonesia, and I believe Brunei. But I was in the Malaysian part of Sabah, and I was in Crocker Range National Park researching the diversity of the bats there. I actually have a video I can show you. I think.
Oh
Can I do
yeah,
that?
please do. Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. How do I share the screen?
Let's see. There should be a thing that says share screen. So you see it at the bottom.
Okay, yeah, I
Right.
see it.
There we go.
Okay, yeah. So this video right here.
It's okay. There we go.
All right. So this video right here is me releasing. Oh, now I gotta download it real quick.
Oh, it's okay. Let's.
Uh, me re- me releasing Tellus Fat. So it'll take a little bit to load up. I'll stop sharing while it loads up. But
No
yeah.
problem.
So I got like I don't know. They're my favorite because they're kind of like me. Like they're I guess they're misunderstood and people don't really like understand them. So me as a black man, like and just black people in general are misunderstood in so many different ways. So like for I like sympathize with that because a lot of people don't really know about them. They think that they're all out to like suck your blood or they're all monsters or they think bats are rats with and rodents, which they're not. But their bats are cool. Like they're the only true flying mammal. So we should celebrate them. They also do a lot of economic and ecological service, providing pest control for all the insects they eat. But they're also pollinators and help us with our food. So that's one reason that they're my favorite, one of my favorite animals that I have worked with. All right, let's see if this works.
All right. Well, yeah, that's really cool. As you get that going, it is something that I don't think people really realize that we always talk about bees as pollinators, but bats are major pollinators as well, alongside with killing all those nasty mosquitoes that we don't want to bite us, and moths and other insects that some people deem annoying. So bats are really, really important for the ecosystem and for us in general. So it's really cool that that's what you like to do. So let's get that going. Yep.
All right. All right, yeah. So here's a video of me releasing a Telus fruit bat. So bats, they are nocturnal. So they're usually out during the night. Um, and like this bat right here is a fruit bat. So it goes to different fruit, eating and pollinate it.
Have you shared this screen? I don't see it.
Oh, wow. I thought it was all right. Oh, all right. Let me see.
I take this time to thank everyone who's joined us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat. They will pop up on here so I can read them out loud. And apologize for my kid deciding to bombard this show and talk through it.
All right. Now, sorry, I gotta find where the video went now.
It's all good.
All right. All right. We'll try this again.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Can you see it?
Yes, let me open it.
Uh,
And what kind of bat is this?
This is a Telus fruit bat.
Okay.
So we
You,
spent many nights traveling up and down a mountain 3 and 4 times a day, like up and down one way, trapping these guys to study their diversity.
mm-hmm.
And that's the end of it.
That's
But
really
yeah, though
cool.
we spent many nights traveling up and down the mountain, looking for not just the fruit bats but also insectivores. So we had to use different trapping techniques to trap both types of bats, so we could study them. And it was some grueling work, having to carry up the traps every night and set them up. And then like many times it was like we'll go up there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, set the traps up, and stay till 11 or midnight, and then still have to hike down, and then wake back up to try to be back up the mountain by 7 a.m. to check the traps again for the latecomers. And then sometimes we would move the traps, other times we would bring the traps back down and repair them, and then take them back up. But yeah, it was some good work. The first couple of days that we actually trapped, we didn't get any back. So I was like, really, what am I doing? But eventually we started getting back, and I was like, okay, this is definitely worth it.
That's really cool. So how did you get to Borneo? How did that opportunity come into your lap?
Yeah, so the opportunity came about. It was actually an opportunity that I saw on Texas A&M job board. But I wasn't really gonna apply to it because I really didn't think like it was for me. Like it was for um, underrepresented scientists and early career scientists that were recent grad, and I had been out just a couple of years, so I was like, oh, it's probably not for me. But like some of like one of my mentors sent it to me. I was like, "Oh, you should apply." And I was like, "I'll think about it." And then one of my friends who's mammal biologist down in Florida, she sent it to me. I did work with her in undergrad, and I was like, "Well, I guess I have to apply to it now." It was two different people sent it to me, so I I got it. So it was through Texas Tech University and Missouri State University, and it was a early career and program for scientists and underrepresented um, scientists. So African American and people of color, other people of color, but also women. So I got to go over there and meet um, some other scientists from across the country, but also some scientists from Europe. And then we got to work with scientists and students from Malaysia there. So that was it was pretty cool, but it was definitely something that I wasn't expecting to apply to nevertheless get. But
Well, it seems like it worked out for you. I mean, that's one of the really good things about people who know us, who's in our circles. They see what we don't see sometimes, or they're like, these opportunities are good for you, even though you're like, I don't know about this one. So it's really
right,
cool. Yeah.
exactly.
So it's cool you had people in your corner who knew, or so to speak, knew what was good for you before you knew what was good for you.
Yes, that is the truth. Well, that's one of the reasons why networking is important. And then also like you said, keeping people in your corner who are rooting for you and know you know you. Sometimes they semi know you better than you do and know what you're capable of when you try to limit yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely, and then it seemed like it opened a good door for you. Where are some other places you've been besides Borneo?
Yeah, so besides Borneo, like most of my other places have been across the United States. Like after I worked in Borneo, I actually got a job as a endangered species observer, working on dredging ships. So dredging ships are the ships that go out after hurricanes and dig up sand and throw it back on the beach to like renourish the beach. But they also go out and deepen and widen shipping channels.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there on the boat as an endangered species observer, making sure that the boat wasn't running into any endangered marine mammals during the operation, or they weren't digging up sea turtles while we were dredging. So that kind of opened up that door for me. I spent like 3 to sometimes um, almost 2 months more on the boat, out anywhere from 5 miles to the most was like 20 miles at sea, digging and transporting sand and mud from the digging site to the back to the ocean, or taking sand to the beach.
Mm.
And like my job was just to make sure that we weren't running into the mammals or digging up sea turtles. So I had to go out and check after digging on the instruments to make sure the turtle exclusion devices are still in place to prevent these turtles from being dug up.
Well, that's really
Yeah.
good. That's really cool that you've done all of these different things. Where do you think this is going to be taking you, hopefully, in the near future?
Um, that's a great question. I'm gonna say my options are limitless right now. I'm definitely hoping to get back into the marine field, and I'm looking to eventually down the road sometime like start a nonprofit on my own to help bridge the gap for um, black and brown and people lower economic status, like their students, to get into the natural resource field. There's a lot of opportunities out there for like STEM and STEAM fields in general, but a lot of those are the I guess the clean STEM fields, the ones that are also kind of glorified. They're like, oh, do this because you're going to make a lot of money, but no one really like pushes the natural resource field, on which is still like a wonderful opportunity and something that should pursue if you're passionate about. So I want to kind of create a program that help people get into this field and see what it's about. Like, sure, we're not going to make six figures, but we are still doing meaningful work that generations to come will be thankful for. And then like I also want to like encourage them, like, sure, like you may not want to be a wildlife biologist and you don't want to work with animals or get dirty, but there are so many other supporting roles that help aid in conservation and wildlife work that we need help for. GIS analyst, or you can do like photography or videography or policy, scientific policy are all like great STEM positions that we need help with. I just want to like create a program that expose kids to these opportunities.
Well, that's really good. So yesterday, I actually interviewed a woman named Callie Broadus. I say her last name wrong all the time. Callie Broadus, and she did a nonprofit called Reserva, which is a youth-funded national trust. So basically, she works with youth who are interested in conservation and biodiversity, and she does it by offering education, and they are the ones who either help raise money or even offer the money themselves. And so she's working right now in a national forest down in Ecuador. It's not the Amazon, but it's like Cocha, I think is what she said. Anyway, I bring her up because I mentioned that I was going to be talking to you today, and I guess she follows you on social media and was like, "Oh wow, you're going to be talking to Alex. He's really good at what he does, and he's amazing." So you never know who's watching. I mean, apparently she was a wildlife biologist or wildlife journalist for National Geographic, and she worked with National Geographic Kids. And I don't know, I think that would be someone cool for you to meet and possibly network with. She already knows about you.
Yes, definitely. I definitely will look her up after my exam. I will look her up.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
you should. But that's really cool. That you want to get the youth involved and having them get more opportunities. Because, like you said, when you like animals and you like being outside, the number one thing you're gonna get growing up, or what we got growing up, was be a veterinarian. And you
Right.
don't see these other types of career opportunities that's available to you until you hopefully go to college and find a mentor who can point you in the right direction, because college doesn't mean you're going to get the opportunities either,
Right.
unfortunately.
Exactly.
So where are you now and what are you working on now?
So now I'm a graduate student at Georgia Southern University, and I'm working on my master's degree in conservation biology. My project will be focusing on seaside sparrows. I'll be making an assessment of the diets of the nestling seaside sparrow. So the seaside sparrow, they're endemic to the tidal salt marshes of the southeastern United States. So they don't migrate; they're stuck there. But they're losing habitat from coastal development, and my project will be looking at the habitat loss from sea level rise. So I'll be looking to see what is available for them to eat, and then what they're actually feeding to the baby seaside sparrow nestlings, and then seeing how that could affected by sea level rise.
Okay, so you're going to be working with the sparrow, and most sparrows are very tiny. So, did you say that their number one issue is basically human beings?
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is usually the issue. We're the ones who kind of get in the way of animals being animals, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Ah, my goodness. So sorry about this. He is being
it's all good.
extremely extra today.
Yeah, it's all good. But yes, humans, we're to blame for a lot of things. But that's why there's other humans that are working to fix this or aid in preserving and conserving these species the best we can. So while we're trying to, I guess, fix the problem that we all created. So that's why, I mean, that's why it's one of my passions. Like I want like other and future generations to be able to see what I have seen. So that's one of the reasons why I'm passionate about it. So not only do I love wildlife, but like I know I've been blessed to see like all these beautiful things. I want like the future well, I want this generation to be able to see it, but also the future generations because it's definitely a lot of people talk about like future generations seeing it, but it's important that this generation gets to experience also. So I want them to be able to experience, and then the future generations and generations after that.
Yeah, because I mean, I definitely want him, even though he's kind of being a dink today, I want him to have the opportunity to see wildlife and explore different things before, they're gone. Because we're right now living in the era of the black rhino, right? Where what's going to happen with the black rhino. And if that species is unfortunately going to disappear before, our next generation gets an opportunity to see them in action.
Yes, yes, it's sad that we're in that predicament that there's like numerous species that are like I'm not gonna say on its last leg, but they're definitely in need of a lot of help and are fighting hard to make it out. So it's sad that we're in this predicament. That hopefully with the right people and right training that we can prevent these species from going extinct. So that's definitely something that is definitely like on my heart and was like helping these species. But it's
Right.
a lot of work.
It is. It's a lot of work, and it's changing. It's helping people not only change their mindset but see the error that's happening. I know a lot of people in California really big on recycling and composting, but that's not a big thing in many other states, unfortunately. And to try and get people to realize that just your effort. Most people are like, oh, it's just me. I'm not going to be able to change anything. Well, if your mindset is the mindset everybody has, then nothing will change. So it's got to
Right.
change with someone. So
Exactly. Yes.
hopefully you, me, other people will be able to change the mindset of our peers and the next generation on what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Right. That's the truth. Yeah. There's like it's I guess the saying is one bad apple can like spoil the whole bunch, but one good apple can like create change. It's definitely like the snowball effect. So if we all like not only just like not just focus on us, but if we work to like better ourselves and create and change what we're doing, we can kind of lead by example. Other people seeing what we're doing, it's like okay, I'm going to start doing that now, and eventually like 10 people can like multiply it to 100 people doing the right thing, and then 100 people, 1,000 to the whole city. Like, so we all need to like yes, um, try our best to like create the change that we want to see and implement the things that need to be done in ourselves, and hopefully eventually we can spur movements to create change.
Right, absolutely. And like I said, it takes one. I had the conversation with someone about water bottles. This is a few years ago, but I was like, you buy like 2 water bottles a day at work. That's 10 a week during work time, and that's not even however many you buy on the weekend. And so if everyone in this office, which is like 300 people, did the same thing, do you know how many water bottles are being utilized every single week versus,
Right.
a reusable bottle? that you can just reuse, fill it up with water, you save money, and you help out.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and many times the reusable bottles are bigger than the plastic bottles.
Right. Exactly. So, but anywho, I can be on that platform for a long time. Once you finish your master's, do you think you're going to go for your PhD?
Um, that's I don't know. It's been on my mind lately. Like originally, I was like, yeah, I'm done. But it's been on my mind lately. I don't want to teach in academia, but it's definitely something that has been on my mind lately. Um, so I'll think about it more. But I know like for myself, like I accomplished like just getting my master will be a accomplishment in itself for
Mm-hmm.
me. And just getting a PhD, I guess will just add to be like another pat on the back. So like, it's not really like I guess I'm not really like determined for it, but it's still a possibility um, right now. So I'm just kind of keeping I guess, keeping the idea in my head. But I definitely know, like, once I get done with a master's, I'm taking a break school for at least a year to like live my life, I guess, because most of my life has been school. I don't know, what 10 years or so. So I definitely need a break from school to figure out um, I can figure out life. Not really figure out life, just enjoy life. You know.
Well, I understand, and it's been a whole year of pandemic and being indoors all the time. So hopefully you finish your master's. This will be over with and you'll have the opportunity to travel and do more work with many different animals all over the world. Is there anywhere in specific or any animal specific that you would love to work with?
Yes, I guess I would love to go back to Borneo and work with the bats there, but I would also like to like well, not really necessarily work with them, but see like leatherbacks in their natural habitat. And I would love to like one of I haven't worked with carnivores yet, but I definitely like would like to see myself working with carnivores, in particular bears or wolves. So that's my hope is to work with them one day. But definitely I'm gonna go back home eventually and return to the marine field and sea turtles. Is definitely I think is where I feel like I'll end up long term.
Okay, is there a where is home?
Home is in Georgia, Austell, Georgia. So that I guess I'm talking about the southeast, I guess.
Gotcha. Well, I do know of a biologist. She works for Fish and Wildlife, and she just got a position, I want to say in Minnesota. I want to say up there somewhere. Anyway, she's going to be working with carnivores up there too.
Oh, nice,
So,
nice.
huh?
I was gonna say my first federal position. It wasn't in Minnesota, but it was right on the border. It was in Wisconsin, New Richmond, Wisconsin. It was like 40 minutes. It's probably not even that. 20 minutes from like Minnesota, Stillwater, Minnesota.
Well, I mentioned it because I've already told her I'm coming up to volunteer just to get, I like to do a little bit of everything, and
Right.
even if it's just volunteer. But, she's the head biologist up there in this new position. So, I'm all about sharing my contacts and helping people get to where they want to be, if that's something you would like.
Yeah, I definitely would like it. Thanks. Yeah, that's. I mean, I guess that's kind of how I got into another reason how I got into like some of the positions. Like I did some volunteer bird banding, and that has led me to a lot of positions too. So yeah, I definitely enjoy like volunteering, getting that I guess experience. Like I like to say like I'm a quilted biologist, so like I have a lot of different specialities like stitched together into one blanket. So yeah.
That's all good. I mean, that's what makes you unique.
Right.
All the different work you've done. Yeah, I wish I had did more. And I mean, there's still time. I can probably do more, but I love my friend in biology because I live vicariously through her. She's worked with polar bears and elephants and other bears and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff. And I just be like, ooh, how did you do that? So fish and wildlife, if anybody is listening and is interested in working with a variety of animals, fish and wildlife might be your best bet. So what about you? What do you
Yeah.
see yourself in the next 5 years outside of your nonprofit?
Yeah. So definitely somewhere working with wildlife still. I would like to be somewhere warm. Like right now, I don't really have anything to tie me down to like Georgia yet. But I definitely want to be somewhere semi-warm. At least most of the time, I can do a couple of cold. But I definitely want to be working in wildlife research. Um, if that's a marine field, I love to do that. If that's in the carnivores or back to working with bats, but this time the bats in the U.S. That's my goal. Is like is definitely to be working in wildlife, but also like you said, my nonprofit. But I just want to be able to give back. So helping the people that I have met throughout the last couple, I can't even say years, the last couple months slash year since the pandemic, it has been really like I'm engaging, meeting people on Twitter and through other social media that I may have not have met otherwise, just
Mm-hmm.
because we're all spending more time online. But also through a lot of the Black and X Week, like Black Birders Week, Black Marine Sciences, Black Mammalogists Week, I have
Mm-hmm.
met a lot of different biologists and other people that are conservation minded. So I definitely would like to connect with some of them and see what we can create as a collective.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. That's really good. So, before I let you go, I know we run out of time and you have a test to take. How can people get in touch with you? How can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at nature underscore out, and that's in the number eight TURE underscore AL. So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram up under that. And then my website, you can just go to my Twitter and Instagram and find my website.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest. It's yeah, that's probably the easiest way. But or you can Google. I'm sure if you Google me, my website will pop up. But definitely Instagram and Twitter. Like I have a LinkedIn, but I don't really use it. So Twitter and Instagram will be your best bet. And then from there we can exchange emails.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out today, even though you have a test to go ahead on campus to go take. I really appreciate you being on the show again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun as always. I look forward to speaking to you later on down the road.
Absolutely. I will be following your career and shouting all the amazing things that you're doing from the rooftops.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
All right, thank you. You too.
Thank you, everyone, for being on part of the show today with In the Know with CaT Bobino and my special guest, Alex Troutman, and also Carter Williams, who decided he wanted to bombard the show today and be very loud and cantankerous. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will be live again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. And my extra special guest is going to be Carly Jackson. make sure you join us. And if you want to know more about Alex, like he said, Google him. But I'm also going to share his stuff in the chat. All right, everyone. Have a good rest of your Thursday.